All right, everyone. Well, let's get going. Today is day 19. Wow. That's a lot. So we have 3 more days left. We could call this the final stretch. We are finishing up the expansion week series of our meditations. And today we're going to do what might seem like an interesting meditation. We're going to be meditating with our eyes open. Yes. So if you're looking at me right now, this is what you're going to be seeing. This is what we're going to be doing. Now, most of the time when we think of meditation, we think of it with the eyes closed. This is the classic representation of it. And you think of any movie you've ever seen, or childhood movie of someone meditating. I always go back to Rafiki from The Lion King. That's the one that's most salient for me. But it's just like, sitting cross-legged, eyes closed. And every magazine with someone meditating on it, eyes closed. If the eyes were open, you wouldn't even be able to know that they were meditating, right? And so that's how conditioned it is. And I often teach with the eyes closed as well, but that's primarily because that's the traditions I have trained in, which emphasize the eyes closed. But there are a lot of meditation traditions that emphasize meditating with the eyes open. And it's a really powerful way to practice. It's a way of practice that I very much enjoy, and I split a lot of my time eyes closed, eyes open. So I want to introduce you to that today. One of the reasons it is so powerful is just because we experience, assuming that we have the capacity to see, and in whatever capacity we have it available to us, this is a very strong sensory experience as we move through life. All of the things that we're taking in, our experience of other people is very much like what we see, their facial expressions, our experience of beauty, our experience of disgust. All of this is being taken in through the sense lens. And when we're meditating, even though we're working with visual images that can arise in the mind, we don't get to work as much with the visual lens when the eyes are closed. So this is our opportunity to do that. And I'm going to guide you through it. There's nothing you need to know beforehand or worry about. But you can choose to look straight ahead at me, at the screen, which includes all the comments that come up. Remember, we're not like trying to get rid of any distractions here. Even though I said that at the beginning of this meditation, we're going to work with taking it all in. But if you choose to turn your attention away, you can do that as well. So let's start as we typically would, which is just finding a comfortable posture. And we'll begin with the sound of the bells. As I ring them, just see if you could bring your full attention and focus to the sound from the moment it begins all the way until it dissolves into silence. And you might notice a tendency to want to shut the eyes in order to tune in more deeply. So that might be something you get to play with here. So we're just settling in a similar way as we normally would, just with the eyes open, which can feel like a very different experience. Let's start by taking a deep breath together, in through the nose. Out through the mouth. Inviting the jaw to soften. The teeth don't need to be clenched. It can be a slight part in the lips. And as you're doing this, as you're relaxing the body, notice if there's a disconnection from seeing that can happen. So I sometimes like to just really focus on the quality of seeing, just what it's like to see. And while holding a deep awareness of that, then start to bring some awareness to the body as well. So that I'm connected, what we might perceive as outwardly, connected with you, but also connected to my own body. So I can hold that connection. And you can hold that connection while maybe also just checking in with the shoulders. Inviting the shoulders to be at ease. And then noticing the belly. You might periodically notice the tendency to want to close your eyes as a way to deepen into presence, or as even a way to move away from discomfort. Sometimes holding the gaze, which is similar to what we're doing here, can feel uncomfortable. So we get to monitor all of that as it arises. And we make that the practice of staying in connection with our experience. So if the eyes were closed and we were focusing on the breath, we'd be tracking the sensations, feeling them, connecting to them. Here we're connecting just with seeing. So I invite you to start to become a little more sensitive now to what is in your field of awareness. Specifically, shapes and colors. The whole visual field can essentially be reduced to shape and color. And so you might first start by zooming in closely to one point in front of you. It might be the screen or my face. And then see if you can zoom out and start to take in what's in your visual field more in the periphery. So how far outside can we start to expand and hold the awareness? Similar to if we were in a movie theater and we were just focusing on the center of the screen. If we also sort of zoomed out, we could see the entire screen and also see the space around the screen. So it's almost as if we're watching ourselves watch. We're seeing ourselves see. And this visual field that we're usually so sucked into or captivated by or activated by is actually just another experience that we can observe. And it's not so much what we're seeing that activates an emotion, but it's how we process and think about or interpret what we're seeing. Periodically checking in with the body. This is a really important part of the practice and one that carries over into real life in an important way. Just this ability to stay connected to what we're seeing or what we perceive as the outside world, while simultaneously staying connected to ourselves. Usually we do one or the other. And we neglect our own needs, or we focus too much on our own needs. So in the last couple minutes of this, let's just make it a very basic meditation that we're familiar with, but only with the eyes open. So you can rest your awareness on your body breathing. as you're doing this, you get to notice the mind as it wanders, whatever the thoughts are. You know, this is weird. I wish we were closing the eyes. I like this. You could just bring your attention back to the breath. And in the last few moments, I'll give you the opportunity to set an intention for today. Anything that feels inspiring or compelling that you'd like to hold at the forefront of your minds. And I'll ring the bells 3 times to signal our close. So this is normally when I would say you can open your eyes, but they're already open. So just notice whatever you're noticing. This can definitely be a weird practice. You know, it's often weirder when you're doing it in person or with another person. And that's been a big part of what I've been exploring the last couple of years. Relational meditation practices one called Circling, with an organization called Circling Europe. And in that, it's essentially meditation and connection. And you're staying connected to, you're staying present to the connection and all the different forms it takes, and the times we want to disconnect, dissociate, working through emotions that arise, ideas, beliefs. And the beauty of that is that the connection happens through those experiences instead of in spite of those experiences. And so we're in this expansion stage of this week, and one could argue that there's no separation between inner and outer, because our whole perception of the outside world is happening internally. But if we just put that aside for a moment and think, okay, yeah, there is an outside. part of expanding into that, expanding beyond the boundaries of the self, or inviting more around us in, is exploring this practice with the eyes open. So I encourage you to drop into this periodically throughout the day. You know, sometimes at the end of a basic meditation practice, I'll do this. I'll just open the eyes and just rest in awareness. Walking meditation is another way to do this. You know, and a lot of you have seen in my Instagram story, I like to do a walking meditation in the morning. You know, that obviously has the eyes open and you just take in sight. And the training is really potent because it carries over into your day seamlessly. Maybe not seamlessly, but in a very practical way. You know, you're having a conversation with someone and you just become more sensitive to how everything you're seeing, people's faces, facial expressions, what they're doing, fast movements, like it's all just like coming in as sensory stimuli, and then we're interpreting it. And so here we get to create a little bit of space between the stimuli, the visual stimuli, and the interpretation and the judgment, and then all of the emotions that come after that. But that takes a bit of stillness and resting in stillness and resting in our observation of seeing to be able to learn how to do that. So I hope you could see at least why this could be valuable, and something that you can continue to explore for yourself. All right. Well, that's it for now. Starting tomorrow, I'll show you if you want to get the audios of these meditations. I'll have those listed on my website. I'll show you how to do that. The website will have all the links to the videos and all the links to the MP3s. So I'm recording the MP3 as we go. So all of those will be available. So make sure you come the final 2 days just to figure out how to get access to that. And since we will be closing in a couple days, just again, more reminders about the upcoming retreat. I'd really love to continue working with you there. I know a number of you have already signed up, but that if you're interested, CoryMuscara.com/retreat. And a daily podcast, free daily podcast to continue the teachings. I just want to make sure that there's continuity for you after these 21 days are over. You know, we have this nice chunk of time that we're practicing together, but there are ways to continue. And the podcast is a free way. The retreat is paid. And if finances are a concern, just reach out when we have some partial scholarships. So thank you, everyone. I wish you a good day. If it's your weekend, have a great weekend. And I'll talk to you tomorrow. Thanks. Take care.